Hey y'all, I'm John Antonelli, co-founder, co-owner of Antonelli's Cheese Shop. I'm past president of the American Cheese Society, and I'm so grateful to be with you today. Whatever time of day it is that you're going to be watching this video and eating your delicious cheeses. We are so proud of our Cheese of the Month Club. Membership has grown significantly over the years from what started as a one-person event in 2010 to now hundreds of people getting these same cheeses, getting to watch this video together. It's a pretty amazing experience, and I'm really excited to showcase our Meet the Maker this month. So what we do every 3 months, we spotlight one producer, give them forum to grow more larger audience and get fans, get people excited about these incredible products that are being made. And this is from Salisbury, Vermont. We're going to get to go to Vermont for this Meet the Maker here. Vermont is one of the largest producers of artisan handmade cheeses in the United States as an economy. It's a pretty amazing ecosystem for animals like goats and cows. And so what we're going to get to showcase today is a combination of goat and cow milk cheeses, all made at Blue Ledge Farm. What I encourage you to do, watch the video, learn a little bit about each cheese. And while I'm going through, you may find that one lends itself to putting directly on a cheese plate. One lends itself to cooking. One lends itself to just eating right now and you can't stop. And I totally get that. I'm right there with you. What we really try to do is give you some options, give you some things that you can play with and enjoy, and perhaps taste cheeses that you've never had before. In fact, I'm gonna get to sample these afterwards and enjoy some cheeses that I've never gotten to try before. Part of what we do is we bring in these special cheeses just for the club, just for y'all, just so we can get new, exciting flavors. And so this is Blue Ledge Farm. Blue Ledge Farm was started by Greg and Hannah back in around 2000. So they met in Italy when they were studying abroad and fell in love with the culture that comes with the food in that environment. You know, you get to, if you've gotten to travel to Italy, you know that food drives a lot of the conversation, food drives a lot of the experience. And it's a pretty amazing thing. And so they came back and at quite a young age, just out of school, they decided that they were going to go back to the land. They were going to start something where they could follow their passion. One of our core principles is passion with purpose, and Greg and Hannah certainly have that. They found what they love, and they like to say that if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. And so they found it. And so this is a cheesemaker. They started with just goat's milk cheeses. And so they started with 4 goats. Now they have over 125 goats that they milk twice a day. The milking parlor is set up for 16 goats at a time. So you know that you have to cycle through, give each animal the amount of time it needs. It's a pretty demanding workload when you've got a herd of that size. On 150 acres, those goats are allowed to roam and move about within the different ecosystems that exist on the land and the property. Nice grasslands, nice wetlands, and twice a day they make their way back to the milking parlor. The mamas need to milk, and they get a little sweet treats while they're in the milking parlor, and it creates these cheesemakers, these farmers, these farmstead cheesemakers, who raise the animals and make the cheese, have created incredible milk. The grasses, the land, the breeds of animals, Alpines and La Manchas that they work with. This is creating an incredible foundation for making excellent cheese. What we see here is an assortment of many different styles. So they are making over a dozen different cheeses right now, which requires an incredible talent in cheese making, right? You know, the ability to adapt from one style of cheese to another is not necessarily a common thing. It takes practice, it takes skill, there's some artistry behind it, and these cheesemakers have just done an outstanding bit of work. talking a little bit more about the land. Throughout the country, there's land trusts that have been established where for an amount of money you can sort of sell the rights to your land to these land trusts, which means that development will never come in and onto the property. It's common in farmland and ranch land to consider this as an avenue for kind of protecting the future of the land that you love. And Greg and Hannah chose in 2005 to work with the Vermont Land Trust in order to get some capital that they could then use to build their first cheese plant about 16 years ago. And so that land now is protected. There's also some amazing wetlands that they have protected. And they consider themselves, trying to be sustainable, long-term positive impact in their land. So they use a biomass furnace on the property to heat their houses, heat the cheese room, heat some of the water. It uses some wood pellets that are made locally. They also have solar panels, which make up over 50% of the energy consumption or energy needs for the cheese make facility. So they're putting more back into the land than they're taking out, which is an amazing thing, which is, goes into our do good, eat good cycle. Our mission, is to work with producers that are regenerative in practices, trying to leave the world a better place than they started. And so it's pretty amazing. And so what we have here on our cheese plate, and I'm really excited to share these with you. I haven't gotten to taste all of them yet, is 5 beautiful, different, wonderful cheeses. The first one is the fresh maple Chevre. This is their fresh goat's milk cheese. Fresh goat's milk cheeses are slightly acidic typically. They can be dry or crumbly. What's really beautiful about this is they mix their fresh Chevre, which is actually moist and a little bit more fluffy, curdy, softer than a traditional Chevre. And they mix that with maple syrup from Vermont, one of the classic amazing foods that come out of that part of the world. And they mix it so you're getting a slightly acidic, slightly sweet. Maple syrup often has some of that little hint of like umami on the back end when it's that nice dark color, texture. And that acidity still comes through. So you get a really nice flavor profile. Think about this on a bagel in the morning. Put this over some cereal if you have granola. It's a great way to eat a healthy meal in the morning, get some good protein, some healthy fats early in the day. I also think it's great on a cheese plate. When you have a lot of different flavor profiles, adding a sweet element like this fresh Chevre can be a really nice play. So Chevre means, is goat's milk cheese in France. And it is, this one is particularly delicious. The second cheese that we have is Crotina. So Crotina is a 100% goat's milk cheese. So again, we're working with the goat's milk from the farm at Blue Ledge. And they use Penicillium camemberti and Geotrichum candidum. Geotrichum candidum is that little brainy looking moldy part, and Penicillium roqueforti is the little white down that you see, the little coating that's a little tacky on the outside. This is a interpretation of Crotin in French goat's milk cheese. This is one that put them on the map. It won first place in this category in the American Cheese Society competition in 2006. Crotons have a sort of a chalky center on the inside, and this beautiful cream line. I can feel mine in the inside. My recommendation is cut it in half and then cut it vertically around that. These little soft ripened cheeses are not easy to make. They're aged for about 3 weeks before they're released. And you want to eat them within 2 weeks after that. You get this great vegetal mold aroma from it. And and this will be creamy and delectable with that little hint of chalkiness on the inside. Super amazing and wonderful. Again, and they can win tons of awards with this particular type of cheese. They make them in small amounts. We're one of the very few retailers that can get access to this type of product and this producer outside of the Northeast. And so it's really fun to get to try the Crotina. This is my first time having it today. I'm really excited about it. The next cheese that we have here is Richville. So Richville is a cider washed cheese from them, and you can see you've got some of that brainy like looking rind on the outside. That's that Geotrichum candidum that's growing on the exterior of the rind. And then what they're doing is, while it's aging, this very young cheese, they're washing it in a local cider. And so Richville is actually the name of the road that connects the cheese plant with the orchard where this is made, and where the apples come from that make the cider. They then wash on the cheese, and that washing imparts the flavor. It imparts some of the aroma, and then the bee linens provide some of that really intense aroma. So the really pungent aromas. And so wash rinds are your biggest, most intense, strongest category oftentimes. This is just a beautiful cheese. You can see on the inside there's that chalky center again, there's a cream line, and then the rind. And each one of those parts will taste quite different, and each really delicious and delectable. So try all the parts before you move on. This next one is Riley's 2x4. So this is this large cheese with the natural rind on the outside. Oh, this is a beautiful cheese. When you smell it, it smells like the inside of a cave. So in 2015, the folks at Blue Ledge, Greg and Hannah, they decided to build a cave underground. And the reason why that's important, again, they're working on sustainability, low impact. Underneath ground, you have a more consistent temperature and humidity, which is ideal for cheese making. So like in France and Italy and Spain, you'll find like cheesemakers using old railroad tunnels that go under mountains and things, or old forts, buildings that are just, basically there's a mountain or a hill and a door, and you walk in and you're underground, and the cheese needs very little refrigeration at that point because the temperature doesn't fluctuate as much and the humidity stays pretty high. So cave aged cheeses are really important and special part of our industry. So this is Riley's 2x4. It's a goat and cow blend. So cheesemakers historically might have only had like one cow and two goats, or one goat, one cow, one sheep. None of the animals would make enough milk for their own cheese, so they would blend them together, and it creates unique flavor profiles, unique textures, unique characteristics. And the same can be said for even current day. So cheesemakers, Greg and Hannah, have worked with a partnering farm, Mose Farm. Seth and Monica are their partners that run a herd of Ayrshire cows nearby and make incredible milk. Ayrshire milk is great for aged cheeses, blue cheeses. It's wonderful. And so they blend the cow and the goat's milk to create this really incredible cheese. It's really semi-soft in the texture that this wheel is. The goat's milk will offer some of that acidity to the experience, and cow's milk will provide that buttery, cow's milk has a lot of wonderful characteristics. It's the most versatile in its flavor profile. So depending on what they're eating, the grasses and stuff, you may get quite a different flavor profile. So the next thing that they do is they incorporate this natural rind, this natural mold to the exterior of this cheese. This is what I'm talking about. This is amazing. This is like intellectual property. There's not going to be a cave that has the same exact mold as that is growing within theirs. And so you get that mold interacts with the cheese, some of that mustiness and cave aromas will permeate into the inside of the cheese, and you'll get just a really special cheese. I would recommend eating this as a cheese plate as a cheese on a cheese plate on its own, or shredding and putting on a grilled cheese sandwich or mac and cheese. This thing is going to be a killer for sure. And the last cheese that we have showcased for you is a natural rinded blue cheese. So this is, you can see it beautiful. You can see the striation of where the needle went through the cheese to provide oxygen to this mold. This is Middlebury Blue. This is raw cow's milk blue cheese. So they're now using 100% of their partnering farms milk to produce this cheese. It's aged about 60 days. I forgot to mention, I think this one is aged just about 3 months, the Riley's 2x4. But this has a Penicillium roqueforti in it. And you can see by the amount of blue in here that it's going to be a little bit more intense than something that has a little bit less. And you can also feel it's got a little fudginess to it. I love blue cheeses that tend towards that fudgy texture. They tend to make me really happy. And we've got some cave aging on the outside here. You're gonna get, again, some of that mold aroma permeating into the cheese. So this is a stronger blue cheese than you might be expecting. I love it. I think it's fantastic. If it's perfect for you, great. Enjoy it. Keep eating it. Let it come to room temperature, all of these cheeses. But if it's maybe a little too strong, I often encourage folks to eat it right out of the fridge. That cold temperature will sort of keep some of that intensity down, and you'll have a really wonderful experience. So that's Blue Ledge Farm. Greg and Hannah are both artists, and they are, so in their spare time, besides their kiddos that they get to share the farm with, they also are oil painters. And so pretty amazing people. We're so grateful to get to partner with them for this. And Greg and Hannah, if you're watching, thank you so much for making amazing cheese. You guys are incredible, and I can't wait to go eat now. Thanks, y'all.